Linda Seefeldt is founder and CEO of AIM Above. As a strategic growth facilitator and internationally certified Lumina learning practitioner, Linda's expertise guides businesses and their most important asset, their people, to succeed. In addition to strategic marketing and planning, much work is done with individuals, teams, and leaders needing to discover how to reduce stress, gain confidence, build rapport, and influence results using memorable images from powerful next generation diagnostic tools. Well, Linda, I have to ask you a lot about this because I actually met you when you were facilitating a program, and you also were giving a report on some research you had done for the Florida Society of Association Executives. So tell us a little bit about what went into starting your company back in I guess it was 2007.
It was, Gail, and it was a delight to meet you at the Florida Society of Association Executives. I helped their board actually plan their strategic planning. And I was given a report then about how we might envision 2020. What really can we do to take the organization to the next level? So that's what really started Aim Above back in 2007, is how can we actually have people helping people, spark hidden potential in businesses, people, and teams. Our mission really is to aim for the moon, and if you miss, you might just find your star. So that's the story behind Aim Above.
Wow. Well, now you work with companies, though. You're an award winning executive, and you've worked with companies in over 150 cities across the United States. So tell us what you think is the most important strategy for success.
It's been fun to work with people, and we are more similar than we are different, but the most important is to start with the end in mind. As we did with FSAE and Vision 2020, what are we really trying to do? And if we start with the end, we then work backwards and figure out where to say no, where to actually jump in and invest our time and our resources to actually achieve more. So, and with that, it's the people who carry out the success, and that really is the most important asset.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because, and I agree that we should start with the end in mind. However, 2020, it's 5 years from now, which is not a real long time, but there have been so many changes in the last 5 years. Do you find it difficult to plan 5 years ahead? Because, you just don't know what the future is going to bring.
What I really like is the new initiative called Strategic Doing or Strategic Framework, which is what we did. So you build the structure, and then as times change and technologies actually evolve, you fill those in and you adjust as you go along the way. But you have that spotlight on the future for what is the vision. Everybody's on the same railroad track, going down to the same goal line to actually achieve that. And as things change, we make the adjustments.
Well, now, you said that Harvard Business Review reported that 75% of business issues stem from poor communications. And I agree with that, as a matter of fact, because I thought he said, I thought she said. How, it's so true. How can our listeners improve this to succeed?
Very good question. And I'd like to just show you an example of a great client that I'm working with. So, Joan is the executive of a CEO group, and she wanted to work smarter. So, what she does is she needs to know what each new board member likes and what they don't like in their communication style before they start. So, she has them do a Luminous Spark portrait so she knows exactly how to communicate with them and to work with them. We then do a team portrait to see and map all of the members onto that particular team portrait. We can see the culture, we can see what's missing on the team. She knows how to communicate better. So last year, she had a leader who was more people focused, and she was worried that things weren't getting done, but it wasn't that important to him. She knew that the new leader for this year was more outcome focused, so she knew what to expect of this particular leader, and she could adjust her approach. Less stress, and they had a more successful board.
Well, isn't it interesting, though, that many leaders, hopefully not as many as there were in the past, but many leaders should say it's my way or the highway, and you either get on board or you're out. And so you really have to have a compassionate leader as part of all this, or all of the rest of it doesn't make any difference because they're not going to listen to anything you say anyway.
True, and it's changed. It's changed over the years too, because we used to have more of a dictatorial society, people coming out of the armed forces where it was very hierarchical. Now we're in this virtual economy where it's more networking. The people skills are really making a difference in success today.
I agree with you. And of course, the millennial generation doesn't want to be told anything. And the ones that are coming up behind them pretty much want independence and want their own businesses. So, how many people are frustrated with the lack of making headway, especially in this economy? How can we achieve what we want to?
Excellent point. So, another great client story to tell you about, there was a group of people that weren't getting much done. And so they were concerned, and how do they move forward? They needed to accomplish more. When we actually looked at the culture of their particular team, it was inspiration driven, which means they worked great when they were inspired, but they were not necessarily structured. So what they did, once we looked at all of their portraits, looked at the team portrait, we could see they had three people who were lower on the tier who were very outcome focused people. And that was a real aha for them. So all of a sudden they started involving those people in their projects and they tripled their output. It was just amazing to see once they understood what different people bring to the equation and how their team mapped out and they could see it quickly, it really made a difference.
So, really, that is the way that people should manage their teams today. Is that right?
Exactly. To be able to know more, have the awareness, have the people have their own self awareness, and be able to draw on those qualities and learn how to adapt.
Wow. Well, okay, so let's look 5 years ahead. How can a person plan for business transition so the business continues successfully? What are the steps that you suggest?
Great question. So, another client, Loretta, wanted to retire in 5 years. She wanted to start planning for her executive group to take over the company. So, she contacted me. We actually had several sessions with her group. She was concerned that perhaps she didn't have the right people to lead the company. We actually did the Lumina Leader Portraits, which really shows the effective leadership style of each person and the impacts of when they're stressed. What happens as they conduct their business with other people or for themselves? What does stress do? We quickly found out that Loretta had more visionary skills that the rest of the team was lacking. So she now knows that she needs to add that talent to her team. It was a real interesting story because these people work across the globe and they were stuck on a particular issue and they kept driving to figure it out because they were more detail oriented people and they just got stuck. So they'd come see Loretta and she said, well, did you think of this? Did you think of that? How about trying this? How about considering this? And they didn't have that quality that was very strong, but she did. And so now they know as they're making that transition to really add that skill to their team.
It's a very important point you're making here because we have a tendency to hire people like ourselves. And that's the exact wrong thing to do because we don't want people like us. We want people who are different from us, that bring different skills, different attitudes, different strengths. And that's what makes a good team is that you have all the different kinds of styles put together. And the thing is that we don't necessarily like those people or get along with those people because they're not like us.
It's hard to understand them, but when we have those diverse personalities, they actually fill in the gap for you, so you're able to accomplish more.
Well, now, sales are the heartbeat of all businesses, and salespeople are generally pretty carefree, pretty conversational, don't like paperwork, don't want to fill out forms. So how do you optimize your sales team performance, and then how do you get them to report accurately?
So this is really important, and it's something new that is just coming out for salespeople to use, but it's all about connecting their personal qualities and behaviors to sales results. And we're able to actually give them a report that shows where they're losing their sales in the sales cycle and what's the impact of stress on their sales results. Very, very powerful.
Well, I took a couple of these different personality styles, and one of the things that always came out about me was that I hated to sit behind a desk. And how I actually built my businesses was never being there. I mean, I had a wonderful assistant who liked being there and who was very detailed and very organized, and I was not. And it really worked because I was out there making all the contacts, and she was in there making sure everything got fulfilled and done.
And
So
wasn't that neat? And she probably enjoyed her role as much as you liked yours being out.
absolutely, she did not want anybody, she did not want to be out front at all. It was very, very interesting. But regardless of what we do, to make it a better work arena or make it a better team, there's stress. And what are some of the things that people can do to reduce stress and change certain qualities that they want to improve? I mean, you can know all these things about yourself, Linda, but that doesn't mean that you want to change them.
Oh, well, good point. So, really, what's the reaction from somebody else? Are you getting the results you want from your relationship with another person you work with or with somebody that's in your life? What is happening there? So, to be self aware is amazing. That's the place to start. So, if we really understand ourselves, as you said, you like to be out, when you understand that, you gain the confidence. I worked with a group of people for the last 2 years that are really focusing on their sales. And Donna was one who really gained confidence from it. And when she was done with some of our first few sessions, she says, this gives me such confidence to go out, and I know where my strengths are. I know where I can work really well with other people. And I have watched her grow in that confidence level by seeing it and practicing it. And it's such a joy to watch.
Well, that's a great thing to know. But I want to ask you something else. You said you've worked in 150 cities. Now, I know that FSAE is a not-for-profit and it's an association. So what are some of your other clients like? Are they all in the not-for-profit world? Are they all associations, or what kind of businesses do you deal with?
I deal with a variety of businesses and size. I'm very open because communications, marketing, all of these personal skills and business development skills apply to all of them. But a majority of my focus has been on the personal and professional development, really being the financial industries, whether it's the CPAs, the lawyers, any kind of service industry that's really about relationships. And so that's really where my focus has been in all of those different arenas.
Well, do you find that when you facilitate some of these board retreats or even just a company retreat, is there a common factor that seems to pop its ugly head up more than not?
A good question. And one of the ones I did just recently that was so much fun is we did an innovation day, and it was for a company that was in the architectural and construction business. And they really wanted to reinvent themselves as we look forward with all the technologies that are making the difference. So we really took and said, okay, what is the innovation? What do we want to do? Again, starting 5 years out and working back. But the thing that's common amongst all of them is every one of the successes really embodies all the different qualities we need. So whether it's outcome focused to get the job done or people focused because we need to be able to make sure that we're bringing in the people and involving them and having them be collaborative. And the other two opposites to make sure we have the big picture vision, but also the details, and they're done for a quality way. So it really takes all types of diverse personalities in any vision.
Well, you also talk about in part of this relationship that you have a way for our listeners to connect best to others. So tell us about those. I think one of them is an app, and some are life tips. So tell us about what it is you have to offer.
Oh, I'd be delighted, and I would really welcome your listeners to try these out because they are life-changing, and we have such great comments back. So first of all, we have a free Splash Life Tips newsletter that comes out weekly, and I encourage you to sign up for that and just see the nice tips that are coming out about things that might just help you in your life. And it's just a splash. So it's just quick, and it's really something to encourage you as you move forward. So please go to aimabove.com and check out Splash Life Tips. In addition, we will be having a Splash app that will be coming out this fall, and we are so excited about this. This app will be free to download on your phone, and you'll be able to speed read other people. And it will be absolutely revolutionary. And I think from that, you'll be able to see how can I best get along with this person that's in my life, or how do I approach this prospect? This is what I know about them. Here are some aspects that perhaps I can use. So this Splash app is going to be phenomenal. We do have a sign up on the website. If you want to get on the waiting list to be first to know about the Splash app, we're happy to let you know. And then thirdly, check out our